So welcome back once more to another exciting, thrilling episode of Lost Cub, where we are back once again at the Batcave, also known as the Murder House. Also known, well, I mean, it has many monikers, but whatever the case, it is the Miller Place. And within the Miller Place, there are a number of people, in theory, though for the moment we have only two of them. Heidi is somewhere about the property. Almost inevitably, in fact, kind of matter-of-factly. But let's face it, she ain't going to be anywhere near where you guys are going today, and is off probably painting again or annoying Anton, because those are her favorite hobbies, besides singing loud enough to echo through the rooms. Not quite piercing, but she has a knack for managing to fill the room she's in with her voice. It's interesting. But yes. So, dear Abby, you have been up and about, and you have reminded Bill about various engagements he has and whatnot. But now you are free, which means I assume there is a winding trail of half-done chores.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was washing windows, and then she the water got really dirty, so she had to go and empty it out, and ended up downstairs, because it's easier to dump and fill buckets in that huge wash sink in the basement. And then she emptied it out, and then it got really sidetracked and ended up doing laundry because she splashed water on her shirt and had to go change, and then everything was dirty, so she's doing laundry, and then she had to go hang things up because there was already wet laundry there that somebody had gotten like halfway through, probably Abby. And so, so she ended up back downstairs because there's some lines set up to drip dry stuff, because we certainly don't have a dryer here, because there's a limit to what that generator is capable of doing. And then she, knocked over some stuff and had to clean that up and put stuff back on shelves, and found a broom that she had been sweeping the floor with, and was like, hey, this would be perfect for all those spider webs and the tunnels. Oh my God, I still have to go finish exploring tunnels. So she has to go get her string and her sketchbook, because she's been sketching them too, or plans to. Actually, getting there is half the battle.
Sage, I feel like you have been around and probably similarly flighty, really. Albeit yours is more willfully flighty.
Willfully flighty, yes, but still flighty.
As opposed to severe ADHD flighty. Slight difference, really.
One of us is a bit of a scatter plot. The other one is just tracing like figure eights over and over again.
So, Abby boldly ventures upstairs and goes for that spool of string, twine,
rainbow-colored string, no less. Courtesy of Sage, in fact.
You see Abby. She is marching with purpose. She has a spool of multicolored string and a broom.
And
this has to be serious.
And a sketchbook and a measuring tape. Like the retractable ones, just like hooked on her pants pocket.
So you could go ahead and imagine like Sage at the banister of this particular staircase, like quirking his eye as you go ahead and pass him, and like throw yourself down the stairs. Not throw yourself, but like excitedly.
She has been known occasionally to slide on the big spiral banister.
Oh, jeez.
A lot more carefully than the first time, because the first time she may have run into the giant finial at the bottom of the banister, and she does not have nards, but
that still was not a pleasant experience.
It's still not comfortable. I clue you.
Oh dear. Sage, for his part, is he's got his arms crossed. He's like scratching his chin for a little bit. He's gonna call ahead and call out. So, you're going someplace. He goes ahead and like increases the volume of his voice. Looks like you're going someplace no fast very quickly.
What?
Where are you going?
The basement.
Okay. He gets to go ahead and like take a few steps
Just
down
like
the
staring
stairs.
up because there's like the hole in the middle of the staircase, like just staring up at him, like what?
What is the same basement you went in and like found those barrels?
Well, yeah, I mean there aren't any more barrels, but yeah.
Okay. What
I mean
what's
there are barrels, but they're all empty and clean now. I scrubbed them.
very good scrubbing? Sage half thinks, did she actually do the scrubbing all the way? It doesn't matter.
Most of them. She had trouble with the flour barrel. That actually took that required like a small bucket and like pulling out bucket full of flour after bucket. So there's actually a lot of flour just like in the back garden and stuff because she didn't know where else to put it.
Uh-huh.
It's
And what do you
strewn everywhere. But it's okay because it's rained since then. Now it's just like fertilizer. It's great.
Sage is gonna go ahead and like hack the cough and like sneeze for a hot second into his own armpits. Excuse me. Uh, so what are you measuring in the basement then with the he goes ahead and points at the measuring stick.
The string. Duh.
Okay. So you're just measuring the dimensions of the basement, I take it?
No, why would I want to know how big the basement is?
He blinks for a hot second. Um, so you're going to measure the string, right?
Yeah, it's to figure out where the tunnels go.
There. Say stops for a second, as if new information is starting to process. Tunnels, you say?
Yeah.
Well, what's in these tunnels?
Mostly spider webs. She like shakes the broom.
Oh,
Heidi gave me a giant duster on a stick, but I don't know where it went. I mean, I don't know where I put it down.
interesting.
Just kind of embarrassed about that. Like this is entirely my fault. I feel bad.
Aw. Don't feel bad. We can ask for it again. Where is that young one? Looking back to Abby. Would you like some help exploring these tunnels filled with spiders and cobwebs?
You don't mind? Heidi's terrified of them. She won't go in.
Goes ahead and nods. No, that makes a bit deal of sense. And no, I don't go ahead and mind fixing up a bit of these places. Excuse me, this place is just
You might need to take a Benadryl before you go in. I think the dust is getting to you already.
goes ahead and coughs and sneezes. No, I'm good. I'm good. This is just part of my gym niche to Stormcrow. Part of my gym niche to Stormcrow.
They gave you a cold?
Well, they didn't give me a cold per se, but they went ahead and put me in such a condition and situation for which I would get a cold and hypothermia.
Rude.
Goes ahead and shrugs. But Stormcrows, as far as I can tell, they like for people to be like in a bit of unease and it's just uncomfortableness and oh, Heidi.
The singing pauses, kind of like she do when it's like, was that for me? Kind of can imagine that wherever she is, she's kind of cocking an ear up, like, wait.
Is there a dustpan and a stick that was here one time or another? Borrow.
No, it's a duster.
Sorry, duster. He goes ahead and like yells out into the empty void.
The blonde head like pokes out of one of the rooms.
Oh, yes.
She
Cool.
points. I think it got left behind the door in Bill's room. The
Okay.
one where he has all the strings and the papers.
The strings and the
Oh, yeah, I probably set it down when I was putting the file folders in there.
strings and. Sorry,
Hang
I've
on.
not.
She like shoves the broom. Is he within reach?
Yes.
She just shoves the broom at him and scampers off. Hold this.
Takes it. It gets shoved into his chest. Bops him on his own forehead. Bop.
Doink. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
You are, in fact, able to recover your spiffy duster, now that Heidi has pointed out where it has been left. Oh, did we lose you?
No,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
still here.
But yes,
She retrieves her spiffy duster.
gates.
Okay, well then, I am well armed to take on the dangers of the underground tunnels. Lead on the way, young lady.
Yep. So, yeah. She scampers down to the basement. To the basement.
Sage is gonna go ahead and follow a little bit slower with like the broom like over his shoulder blades, hanging his arms around him.
I'm not even going to ask because this is beautiful that you have forgotten this in your excitement. So you go down to the basement. Are you heading straight for the thingy to show him? Or are you going to get sidetracked and start trying to measure the basement?
No, she's gonna head straight for the thingy to show him.
Hooray! So what happens here is there's numerous points in the basement where you've got earthen or brickish wall, and periodically there will be part of a wooden support beam, essentially, visible. And you can imagine that these things are big, like easily a good foot wide and probably a good foot deep into that wall. Like they're big. And so she skimpers down and ducks back under the staircase, and there will poke at the upper part of one of those timbers in a very irrational fashion because, I mean, it's a giant fucking timber and a support beam. Those don't move, but do they, though? This is essentially what she reveals.
Whew. That's a secret passage. That is a straight up Victorian era secret passage of gloom, doom, ghost, and torture. Good find.
She's just looking at him like, A, what did you think I was lying? And B, you're crazy.
Okay. Dave's gonna go ahead and take the hot second to lift up part of this passage and just like peer down into the darkness.
You see inky blackness.
Okay.
There is no lighting in there. That is not a thing.
Have you gone down here?
Well, I mean, yeah, like a little ways.
Okay. Sage is gonna go ahead and get his phone out. Go ahead and put the flashlight lamp on and go ahead and shine some light in here.
Do we have a lantern? That's what I forgot. The phone's great, but if you set it down, then it stops working. Also, you can step on it.
This is true. He's gonna go ahead and back out for a hot second. All right, we can go ahead and try to find a flashlight or a torch or some double A's. I think it's somewhere in here. We use the basement a lot for our kitchenry type stuff.
All right. Well, your options are you can hunt around, and we will do hilarious things to see if you can find a flashlight. You can do some experimenting. You have both noticed, as a matter of fact, that come nightfall, certain things just light up, whether or not they should. It doesn't have to be a fire there, they're just lit now. Admittedly, it's not a very bright light, but it's definitely enough of a kind of ambient glow to illuminate a decent little bit of space. It somehow never becomes very sharp or harsh, regardless of the fact that it lights a pretty good area. You
Oh,
could
you're
experiment with one of those. There's also just like, I mean, there are legit old oil lanterns there. Admittedly, there's no telling whether there's oil still in anything. Albeit with Abby's luck, she has probably come across canisters or containers of oil.
all right, all right, all right. Let's go ahead and experiment with these ghost lights things.
Yeah, do we have a small portable one that
Yeah.
lights up?
Yep, pretty much like all those oil lamps that don't have any oil in them. At night, they start glowing. Logic has nothing to do with this, apparently. So you can absolutely just grab a random lantern and see what happens.
Doing it.
Sounds like a plan.
Bring it over to Abby. Okay, so I think I remember seeing like this one like shine like not super bright but ghost bright. How
Yeah,
do we do this?
they light up at night.
Yeah, how do we get it to go ahead and like poof?
Ask it nicely. I don't know. Put it in the dark.
Good idea. He's gonna go ahead and just go ahead and like set this portable lantern in the other side of the secret partition, like in the dark.
Yeah, you set it in there, and it's kind of like experimenting with something that's activated by light or no light. It's one of those things where you set it over there, and you're like, okay, and it's gonna go. Okay, maybe if I just lever this down a little, and by the time you get it reasonably dark in there, like cut off the light flow, what little bit is coming from the basement a bit. Yeah, it just kind of flickers and glows into life.
Excellent. Thank you. She's clearly saying thank you to the lamp.
Nope, this checks out. Would you like to hold it or should I?
Kind of looks down like she's got like the duster and the sketchbook and the string and maybe you should.
Sage goes ahead and holds it up like a lantern man up in front of him and slightly above his head like one damn mariner. And he's gonna go ahead and hop into this particular dark passage and start leading the way.
You are both skinny. You are not the muscle-bound sort, so neither of you has any special issue just slipping through.
Yep. They wiggle through and go to check things out.
All right.
She does start. She will put the little block in to make sure that it doesn't close all the way, just in case.
Okay. Just for fun, I'm going to check things. I can't remember everything you guys have. Because I don't think you have it, but I think he does. It does. So she sets the little block there and is like, yeah, let's do it. Sage, is there perhaps one more step you would like to take before going blindly into the dark? Spoiler, it's in her hands.
I'm gonna go ahead and point to the spool of rainbow string. Gonna point to the rock.
Yep. I wonder if we can just kind of like get it stuck somehow. Down, maybe. Is there a point on the stairs that she could tie the string to?
I mean, to be fair, you could probably just tie it around the board that's still slightly popped up.
There's a logic to that. Okay. Fine. But she will indeed do that.
Hooray.
Yes, step 1 is complete. And yeah, you are faced with something kind of like this. Same thing, kind of dirt floor, much like the basement has. There will still be wooden studs periodically along the route, and bricky earthen kind of situation going on as far as the walls. The ceiling doesn't look especially finished. What you can see of it is kind of rough, but it looks solid, question mark? That seems fine.
Interesting question I'm going to go ahead and ask here. Taking the orientation that we went ahead and took in the basement, I assume we're going mostly straight. Are we heading towards one external portion of the mansion, such as the gardens, or the graveyard, or the graveyard, or the well, or the graveyard?
I'm seeing the hints there. For the moment, this is not actually pointed off towards the back or side parts of the properties. At least initially, it's kind of headed out front ways.
We appear to still be in the house.
Yeah, right now you are under, the floor essentially, and some of the ground. Basically, just under the area that would have been like at the top of the basement stairs. But the orientation of the tunnel is towards the front of the house.
All right. Well, feeling a little bit more comfortable. Gonna go ahead and lead on. I'm gonna go ahead and say, well, maybe the Stormcrows are just a kind of bit like jerks, but I think that's just their nature.
But you can almost hear the cackling from here.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, they should be nicer.
What way?
Not making you get sick?
If my sickness goes ahead and makes life a lot better for a few other people, then I can say, well, let me get sick.
I guess. Anyway, she's going on and sweeping away cobwebs from the ceiling and so forth ahead of them with the mighty duster as they go.
Yep. Most of what you're going to see are periodic places where there's cobwebs. Perhaps later actually right near the entrance there are those small kind of dirty smudge lines along the corner of the wall. Like down at the bottom. As though something's been like running back and forth and left smears. And I'm trying to think of what else there might be that close. Probably not a lot. You'll probably eventually, especially not even eventually, particularly right there near to the entrance. You'll even find some nesting material, like more mice issues.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it long abandoned at this point, but things like that. But as you're getting further in, you're not seeing a lot of life. You're still periodically seeing some cobwebs, maybe, but
those are dealt with.
But yeah, without the little bit of limbing light that must have come through the cracks around the board, there's not a lot of anything for spiders to hunt in here. So, ironically, the further you go, the less spider webs you will see. There will periodically be little sconcy places. No, nothing in them at the moment. Just every once in a while, for no apparent reason, there's a sconce where you might tuck a torch or hang a lantern. Something like that.
She will actually start counting them, and also take out the tape measure and see if she just measure between them.
Weirdly enough, they do seem to be, like, initially, the first couple seem to be pretty evenly spaced. And as you're going along, there's a point where there is one that is maybe half the distance from the others as the rest.
It is poked at suspiciously.
Did you poke it? It feels a lot like, I don't know, wrought iron.
Wiggles
Poke,
it.
poke. I mean, it's old. It might wiggle a tad. It is set in very, very old brick. In fact, the brick kind of crumbles a little bit. You get a little shower of like sandy bits as you give it a wiggle. It doesn't like give a ton. It's just
It's a little loose.
That used to
Well,
be
let's not pull on that quite so hard.
that used to be a lot more solid than it is today.
She does look suspicious though, and we'll proceed to like poke at the opposite wall and be like, but why? Why is it so close together here?
Why?
Sage will take the hot second to turn around because he's taking a few paces forward. And as you like stopping at one point. What are we looking at?
This one's too close.
What do you mean too close?
Well, they're all feet apart, except this one, which is like smack in the middle.
Oh. Okay. So you think
But yeah,
that
she will poke both around the sconce and like on the opposite wall until she's convinced that there's no more secret passages.
Would you like to come and render aid, Sage?
absolutely.
Conveniently, there's a little hook there. You can put the lantern on so you have your hands free. Go figure.
Look at the lantern. Look at the hook. Look at the lantern. Look at the hook. Hang the hook up. Look at the lantern. Hang the lantern on the hook. Look at the Abby. Look at the lantern. Look at the hook. Back away.
What? What?
I don't know what's going to happen, but hangs the lantern on the hook. I'm sorry if we both die.
What? Why would we die?
I have no idea.
I don't understand why people keep calling this the death house. This is ridiculous. It's not that bad.
I've had to go ahead and tangle with some nightmares. Some of them not my own.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
How do you tangle with somebody else's nightmares?
Oh,
Is that a thing?
that is totally a thing. Abby, he goes ahead and like looks around. So, you know we have a few sleepers in the house, right? Well, some of them have really, really awful and bad dreams. So I was on the other side, like doing my nighttime thing, and I came across this huge, giant black Icarus monster, just like hanging itself like over one of these sleepers, like siphoning something from them. I don't know what it was.
That sounds horrible.
It was a nightmare, a literal, honest to Gaia nightmare.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but you know, it was still a spirit, still Gaian. So I talked to it, convinced it to go ahead and track me down for a few seconds to let the sleeper go ahead and like sleep peacefully. Boy, howdy, that nightmare. He goes ahead and like throws his hands up as he's about to start shadow box his own like shadow. Oh, he gave me 1, 2, 4. Pff, pff. He goes ahead and like baps himself across the brow and his cheek to go ahead and like showcase that he got beat first round.
Oh dear.
But then I came back. Goes ahead and like shadow boxes it a little bit and does one uppercut like a hero or a Jedi.
Oh. She looks duly impressed. On occasion, Abby and Heidi have a lot in common. Let's just...
Let me just go ahead and give you a word of advice. If you meet a creature or a spirit on the other side that has like the head of an owl and like the body of a kitten, that's somebody you want to talk to.
the head of an owl and the body. That sounds adorable.
I know, right?
Of course, I would want to talk to them.
Oh God! It just when I saw him, I just quit. Like everything went ahead and just shut down, like by stages. It was so cute and adorable. But yeah, looking around, secret passage.
All right, you can both give me investigation rolls.
Intelligence investigation.
Perception.
Okay.
I actually do have a point in that. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm pretty sure that's how you found the first bit.
I think you're right.
You got no successes because that one likes to ruin me.
Snuck up on you.
I got 3 of them.
She got all the successes.
I told you this is her pet project.
You know, even with the difficulties being what they are, that is enough to get you something. So you've hung this little lantern up, and you've got a nice ambient glow going, enough to give you guys some visible elbow space, such as it were. It goes just a bit down the tunnel either way. And again, at no point, like, you can look straight at this thing. It's not bright. It just kind of ambiently lights an area. So as you're poking around, and especially with Abby being like, "There's something here, I know it." There is another couple of those wooden supports, struts, whatever you want to call them, and she will be the one who initially finds the scratches in them. Which let me quickly check, because I know you have a thing. I don't think she has a thing, but you do have a thing. I assume you are in fact wearing your bag.
Yes. Yes.
The one trend you all have in common with these fetishes is that it does have, admittedly, they are weird little symbols in your case that are kind of embroidered onto like one of the many colorful bands on it. And I mean, it just looks like, I don't know, weird symbols that someone made up.
Weird primal tribal symbols, of course.
Yeah, and I mean, it's embroidered, so it's not quite as rough looking as the glyphs normally are. It just kind of looks, I don't know, artsy fartsy. Someone had an idea. You're not sure what the idea was, but there it is. So what Abby's going to initially find is etched into the posts. There's 2 of them, actually, kind of conveniently spaced, you know, both to this side and that side on the opposite wall from that hook.
Huh.
It's almost like there could be something there. But yeah, you'll begin to find little scratched in symbols. They're not deep, which is probably why you needed the light right there to catch them. It's honestly, it really is pretty shallow scratching, but once you've found one, you can pick out some of the others, and there are several just kind of going down, maybe from a head height down to about, you know, bust height. So maybe a foot or 2. Oh, some interspersed little symbols on either post, on either side. They're not all the same, though. There's at least one that is the same at the top of both.
There's a little symbol scratched into the wall.
So he's just gonna go ahead and like hand her the bag for a hot second, pointing out the mysterious tribal art and looking to the scratches. Can you
What
match
is
this?
this?
Oh, this is my great uncle Papa's medicine bag.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, he's an old hippie, old counterculture type. I found this one day, just started to carry it around, and by God, it's
Oh.
like the only thing that comes with me when I cross over.
I wonder if we could make more of them.
For what it's worth, it also carries a lot more than it looks like it should be able to. It's not quite Mary Poppins level, but it's getting there.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I'm not very good at sewing, though. I'll have to find somebody else. She's like squinting at the symbols.
Yeah. There will probably not be any identical symbols, but you can definitely, as you're glancing at, you know, the handful on the bag and the more numerous etched into or scratched into the wood posts on either side of this little area directly across from the post or from the hook. There's definitely a trend there. There's enough similarity to be like, this seems like roughly the same language, sort of, kind of. If it's a language, or I don't know. whatever the fuck it is.
They're kind of similar shapes, but none of them actually match. Can she reach both of them at the same time? The ones on the wall?
Yes.
Kind
It's a little bit of a spread, but yes.
And she'll attempt to. She'll kind of poke both of them.
You kind of pokey. You don't quite get a response.
Wonder if I have to do something.
How do we translate a language we don't know?
Find somebody that speaks it? Or be a really good cryptographer, which I'm not.
I'm no cryptographer myself, whatever that is, but finding a person you know what? I think Alkin might know this language, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Feel free to or do you want to go ahead and continue on the tunnel?
We'll make a note of this. And because I don't want to try and go across I don't know what happens if the tunnel's not there.
Okay, well, let's take a hot second.
Because sometimes when I go across, stuff is like the same, and then, sometimes it's super different and stuff's missing. Or like stuff on this side is missing. And I could go across and end up stuck in a chair or something. I don't even know. It sounds bad.
Shivers. Okay, no, let's definitely go on, but let's take a hot second. You got a pen? You got the paper? We brought it here for a reason.
She has
Go
both.
ahead. Say what?
She has both. She starts scribbling things.
A bunch of exclamation points right there.
It basically wall sconces, blah 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 blah, X number of feet, blah blah blah, number of wall sconces, wall sconce number 14, exclamation point, and draws a picture of the little symbols.
Ooh, that you can do.
Excellent.
I assume you're just drawing both lines of symbols as they go down the post.
Yep. That's a separate page, though.
Okay. Look at you being all orderly, kind of, sort of, impulsively.
It works.
Like you do. Very well. You now have doodles of what you're pretty sure is pretty accurate for these symbols. And let me eyeball the thing real fast because it's fun. Okay, yeah. You have little doodles. And you have made note. Would you like to continue boldly forward?
Yes.
Sage goes ahead and takes the lantern off the hook. Does not run Indiana Jones style because no boulder has manifested, hopefully, and continues to walk on like a Doom Mariner.
You do. All right. Let's see what kind of fun things we can do to you. Do. Repoku.
Boom.
And I'm also going to endlessly mock and poke people to try to get more participation. But yes, you boldly forge onward. Hold on, let me give someone shit. Pro level here. One moment.
Whew. So how are you getting on with the rest of the clowns that go ahead and attend the circus?
What? I mean, they're fine. I don't really talk to them much.
Okay. Do you have a reason not to go ahead and talk to them too much?
I mean, it's a lot of people. That's all.
All right. Would it be better if
And
it was? Go ahead.
Anton thinks I'm dumb, so I just avoid him.
Anton is Anton is
Jerk.
Anton. Yes, he expresses himself in jerkish ways because he is under
A jerk.
Okay, you're not wrong, but a spoonful of understanding might help. But any other strong opinions other than Anton Jerk?
No, just people just make me nervous. So, I mean, obviously I work for Bill, so I can't just avoid him, which would be silly because he's actually really nice. And you're really easy to talk to, and Heidi's really easy to talk to, but she shrugs and kind of sighs.
That's fair. That's fair. What about your friends on the other side?
There's a lot of them too. The water spirits are easiest to talk to. I haven't really met many of the rest of them yet. I keep meaning to, and then I get distracted.
You get distracted a lot.
Yeah. Mom thought about putting me on Ritalin for a while, but it's really expensive. So
He goes ahead and like gives a sage nod. Oh yeah.
a sage nod, eh?
You saw what I did there.
I do. I see you.
You have at least a good relation with your mom then? It's easy to talk to her about things?
Well, I mean, I did.
You did until your first Mighty Morph?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that makes it difficult because now I can talk to her about work stuff, which is good, and she's not super happy about some of the businessmen, which is fine because I don't think Bill's super happy about the way some of them behave either. So I reassured her about that and that he's making sure everybody stays professional because she worries. And I told her that he's teaching me to drive. Which, I mean, I haven't hit anything yet.
Gaia bless.
Except that, I mean, but that wasn't really like a collision so much as some scratches, so we're probably fine there. I misjudged where the concrete pillar in the parking lot was. That's all.
Okay. So you may have scratched up your own vehicle or
I
Bill's
don't have
vehicle.
it's definitely Bill's. I do not have a car.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's easily recoverable. First time I got behind the wheel of anything, it was a small small 1990 Tempo, short for temporary, because it was very temporary. It
Oh
was
dear.
delivering for a hot bit. Pizza, Red Hat, and
Right, yeah.
I went ahead and I got lost in this one neighborhood, so I eventually tried to exit it entirely. Delivery was about 15, 20 minutes late getting to me about. So I went ahead and turned into this 4-lane drive. And I got to the medium part actually. But then when I turned left, there was somebody already occupying that space that I didn't realize when I went ahead and hit him right in the car seat.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
She is still counting wall sconces and things, by the way.
Good girl. Good girl.
They are meandering down the hallway, and she's still very carefully. There's little tick marks in her journal.
Perfect. Perfect.
Goes ahead and shakes his head. But you recover. You recover. Nobody blames you. Well, not too loudly, at least.
No, he's been pretty good about it. I'm really good at organizing things, which I think makes up for a lot of the things that I forget. And he's kind of stuck with me, so that probably helps.
Bill is not stuck with you. Bill has decided to become stuck with you.
Really?
Yeah, he made that decision. He decided he wanted to go ahead and cover you, because around here we cover each other.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Sage nod.
Oh my lord.
More counting.
All right.
More string laying. It's great.
It's fabulous. So let's see as you go onwards. You will come across something kind of like this. Boop.
Oh dear. Where does the stone appear to have come from?
Probably from beyond the room, into wherever it's tumbling out of.
So something appears to have collapsed.
Yep, not in the hallway, thankfully. And to be fair, it's one of those things where even looking at the picture, you can tell someone has relocated some of this collapsed shit. Because the chances that it all just spilled conveniently and artistically out into the hall are pretty low. I will, in fact, let you guys make we'll call it an alertness check.
And perception alertness, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost always perception alertness.
I got the one.
That is one. That is enough.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, madam?
I'm swapping between
Many tabs?
Yes.
Like you do.
I could do. Diff 6?
You do have a lamp, so yes.
Then 1 success.
Oh, you both get 1. It's enough. You kind of I assume you guys are kind of leaning in cautiously, and at least from the hall side, kind of eyeballing this situation you've stumbled across.
Checking to make sure nothing else is going to collapse or conk your head or...
I mean, you don't hear any threatening rumbling or the clattering of things falling, and your alertness check will give you that, especially with stuff spilled out like this, both of you, each in different places, will catch deep gashes in some of the stone. Not the stuff still attached to the not the frame there that's been cut out. It's obviously been carefully cut out. But in the stones that have spilled out into the hallway, each of you finds at least one with 1 or 2 deep gouges in it.
Huh. Weird.
Hmm.
Fun question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a stone cutout. We had hitherto...
We will say it is brick.
Okay.
Because I am a noob and just looking at the photos instead of thinking about consistency. This
That's fine.
is brick. There may or may not have at some point been a door here. If it was there, it is not there now.
It
That or
still
it's
looks
been
like it's
crushed.
made out of the same material as
Yeah.
the rest of the tunnels and the rest of the house. though.
Yes, it is consistent.
That's the question. Okay.
It is consistent, but stone has been like pulled out. And to be fair, your ceiling is definitely kind of scored out of the ground, and there are points where it is definitely stone. Like this has been some excavation to lay this thing in.
Sage, for his part, is going to go ahead and pick up one of these bricks and goes with the gash in it, and go ahead and like spread his like other hand over it, and try to go ahead and map out like if he could have made these gashes if he was in one of his other forms.
Smart cookie. Yes, indeed. This is about the size and spread. You know, you find one of the stones that has obviously like fallen from somewhere, been gouged out of somewhere. And it does have at least 2 claw marks in it. So you kind of splay your fingers and think about it for a second and squint at it real good. Real good. Side eyeball it. And yeah, this is probably roughly the gauge like in Hispo or Krynos, where you would have like if you were digging through have left a score on it.
Sage is going to go ahead and make the thought audible, simply saying, "We could have done this if we were in a war form."
I guess we could, yeah.
How big is our passage? Is it enough to go ahead and take Krynos or Galabro?
The doorway or like the tunnel you're in?
The tunnel I'm in.
The tunnel you're in, like, obviously the way you got in there, you'd have to be in Helmet or Lupus to fit through that little gap to squirm through. But the tunnel is big enough that while it would be a little lax on elbow space, you could take Krynos in here and not crush yourself to death.
Okay, well, I don't really want to go ahead and take Krynos, but Sage is going to go ahead and, like, turn over the lantern to Abby if she's willing to go ahead and take it.
She'll
and
take
simply cool. He'll go ahead and say, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and see about digging this passage out. If something looks like it's..."
Let me look and see what's on the other side first, because we don't want to start digging and have something fall.
Because in gestures, if you can go ahead and squeeze in there.
Can she,
Sure.
in fact, squeeze in there?
You can, in fact. You could easily fit one of you through the gap that's been created there. You could easily fit in Lupus, and you could probably squiggle through in Hispo. It'd be a bit of a crush, but you could do it.
She will squiggle through in human, because that is honestly what she is most used to doing.
Yep, you can kind of climb up there. You have to be a little careful because while most of the stone is pretty settled, whatever has relocated it pretty solidly. But a couple of them will kind of wiggle as you're climbing up, like some of those topmost ones.
She will climb very carefully and then have Sage hand the lamp back to her.
Oh yeah. Sage goes ahead and hands it back, very looking at you like very warily, very cautiously, because oh dear, he does not want to go ahead and lose you or get you hurt.
It's the I'm ready to catch, so ready.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you guys pass up the lantern and you kind of hold it through the doorway to kind of illuminate the room beyond. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not good stark light, but you can kind of see what's going on in there. And hilariously, it's a treasure trove. Let me pull up through the photo. Many photos. Many, many photos. Admittedly, again, assume consistency in the walls because I'm working with what I've got. But it is something along the lines of this. But it looks distinctly like something somewhere, some sort of like explosive bout of damage was done, like fairly near the entrance to the chamber. There are a number of abandoned barrels. Many of them have been cracked open. And I mean, they're kind of all akimbo as though abandoned. But there's definitely a point where you can see that damage was done. with you right up there on top of the pile, you're definitely seeing consistently more of those like really deep gouge marks in the stone, as though someone. I mean, no. Let's be fair. It's pretty obvious. It's just inside the door, and it's pretty clear that like either something was trying to get out or something was trying to get in.
After the explosion that caused the collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. It's full of barrels in here.
Okay.
And I think somebody set off explosives. It looks like that's what caved down the support that collapsed over the door. It's hang on. Let me get out of the way. And she'll kind of wiggle down the other side of the heap of rocks.
You disappear over the other side of the rocks. Sage is like, oh. Oh.
Sage is making his pooped myself face.
Yes, he's. No, excuse me. Abby, where'd you go?
I'm right here. I'm inside the. I'm standing up, and not.
Okay.
I just got out of your way. It's fine.
I'm gonna follow now.
Yeah.
In the dark.
Duh.
He's gonna go ahead and proceed to try to scramble up the debris.
And just for fun, because she's taken the light with her, give me a quick athletics check. Just... Admittedly, we'll be very surprised if anything untoward happens.
That's 3 success based on difficulty.
Let me take a quick sneaker pick. Oh yeah, you're fine. It's a little more harrowing for you because you can't quite see where you're placing your hands and feet, and so things kind of wiggle a bit. One of the rocks you go to try to prop your foot on decides to fuck its way off down the pile, and you're just like, blah, blah. But yeah, you get over it just fine. No real bad scrapes or bruises. You do not clonk your head on the fucking top of the door.
And she's standing off to the side, holding the lamp, so that you can see once you actually get inside.
He goes ahead and clambers his way like inside, like his jeans are all scuffed up, his tie-dye shirt is now covered in like this ancient brick dust.
Yeah.
On his face, he's just got like he's still got his pooped face on right now. Okay. Well, he stands up, pats himself on the back to make sure he did not, in fact, poop himself.
You thankfully do not need to have worn your brown pants today.
Okay. Turning towards Abby. So what do we got here?
So what you've got here is obviously a point of collapse just inside the doorway. A lot of barrels. It's a big room. They may have been stacked at some point. Something has spilled them over. The ones closer to the doorway are obviously like irreparably damaged. Some of those too, in fact, have claw marks in them. And yeah, there's a point there in the ceiling where clearly like one of the beams. What the
Look at all the barrels! Look at them!
Where one of the beams was clearly damaged and gave, like it's kind of broken. Some of the ceiling has come pouring out, and it's pretty clear to tell from this side especially that it probably completely blocked the doorway at one point and has been excavated by force.
Abby, do you know what we have here?
Barrels?
Yes, that. But we also have a clear incidence of, I believe, Loopgaru. Some type of weird changing creature that's like us, or may just be us. I don't know. That was in this room at one point.
Didn't this house belong to Anson's like ancestors?
This is true.
I mean, because everybody keeps calling me the child of Luna, and I never got bitten by anything, so obviously that's not how this works. So maybe it's a genetic thing.
Possibly. But no, I'm less concerned about these barrels and more concerned about trying to find the terminus to this werewolf's rampage, if there is one.
I mean, I didn't see any other like huge claw marks in the hallway. It kind of just looks like something collapsed to the ceiling and they freaked out, clawed open the doorway, and then calmed back down again. Probably.
Oh, okay. I hadn't actually thought about that.
All right, and since we have a speak of the devil moment, speak of the devil, Anton.
Yo.
Hey.
So, I do not know what Anton has been up to. For all I know, he has spent his morning out. But upon arrival home, and Becca doesn't happen to be there today, and Suzanne hasn't come with you, but Heidi is, of course, ever present. And as you ask about, okay, who's around, who's where, who's doing what, and you're like, where the fuck did Abby go? Where? You said Sage is here. I don't see him anywhere. And she's like, oh, they went under the stairs. They went in the basement. They haven't been out for a long time.
Picks up the fucking sawn off.
I love this acceleration process so much. You pick up the sawn off.
Takes a few shells, puts them in his pocket, makes sure it's loaded. All right.
Two schools of thought right here. I need a lantern and a sketchbook. Where's the shotgun?
Looks over at Heidi. Where's the flashlight?
She proceeds to produce a flashlight from, I don't know, under the bed. Just holds
Takes
it
it.
up.
Wait there.
Okay. I don't like it under the stairs.
No, you don't go under the stairs. You stay where you are.
Okay.
Yep. Puts the shotgun over his shoulder, puts the flashlight in his jacket, heads under the stairs, activates blur.
All right, buddy. So what's going to happen is you're going to go down to the basement, and sure enough, under the stairs, you find propped up, very carefully propped up, is this. It looks like another one of the very heavy posts that supports the house. It is not, in fact, however. There is a small block that has been tucked into the bottom to keep a tiny gap there to make it easier to open and close. And wouldn't you know, there's a bright rainbow-colored string just kind of tied around the board, like mid-length.
Just rubs his face
Leading
just a
off
tiny
into
bit.
the darkness.
Yep, like I said, activates blur.
All right. I assume you're going to wiggle through and then do it?
Yep.
All right. So, in fair warning, you can activate...
Four successes.
You can activate blur. It is pitch fucking dark in there, however. But there is conveniently a string.
You follow the string.
Just grab a hold and walk blind through the tunnel.
Yep, completely invisible with 4 successes.
Are you going to stealth?
You're in the fucking
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna stealth. One, two, three, four, five, six. 6 successes.
6 successes. Theoretically,
10.
diff 10. Though I don't think you ever really go over 9 unless it's to be an abominable person.
It's 10. No, you go up to 10.
Oh, well. So you'll be faced with this for a good long walkie. And eventually I will switch back to the used to, but what you're going to come up to, seeing a faint kind of, much like the lights that come on at night now, just beyond this, which admittedly, I mean, it's still the kind of bricky walls like this. But you will come to a point where there is clearly a doorway. Who knows if there was once a door here? There probably was, but it sure as fuck isn't there anymore. And so, as you are coming along and coming up to this, you will see for the first time any fucking light down here. And there's a soft glow inside the room itself. Let me check and see if Tom is about to jump in to see if I need to just wrangle you all at once. Yes.
So Anton
I
sits
did
there.
see him just get on the Roll20.
As Anton sits there, making everybody look like fucking Stevie Wonder with that level of success of Blur.
You assume that Abby is paying any attention whatsoever.
Even if you did, it's still like Stevie Wonder.
You're fucking Batman.
Yep. Anton knows for a fact that Abby is very easy to sneak up on. Most of the time. And then sometimes you don't know how she saw you coming. But most of the time, she's oblivious.
All right. So as you're walking along, aha! Perfect. Get your face on. Do it. So I can get you in while I'm getting Anton in.
What?
Put your face on.
Oh, fuck. I wasn't...
I mean, if you want Abby to pee herself, go ahead and introduce Skeletor.
Perfectly accurate, but sadly we're in the Tellurian, so you'll have to put on a proper face.
Yeah, see? Me all along. No.
So just to get everyone headed in roughly the same direction, Jane, what will prompt you down into this fucking shenanigans is Anton finally comes home. He's been out for a bit. And he talks briefly to Heidi. You can hear them kind of discuss blah, blah, blah. And then the thing that kind of catches your attention is as you see him walk with great, like as if he is burdened with great purpose towards the basement, he has a sawn-off over his shoulder and a flashlight in his hand. And man, he is target locked as fuck. And he fucking dips into the basement and fucking, I don't know, by the time you get to the top of the basement stairs, seems to have fucking disappeared. Though you do hear an odd, like, a bit of a clunk just under the staircase.
We're kind of still at the top of the basement. She looks left, looks right, clunk, looks down. Just slowly starts down the stairs into the basement, following in.
And much like Anton, as you come to investigate where this clunk has come from, you will find under the stairs, there are many points about the basement where there are wooden struts, like obvious supports for the house. This one is obviously not a full-size strut. Wouldn't you know? There is a small, that little block there at the bottom has been tucked in so that there's a bit of a gap holding it out to make it easier to see the light around it, presumably. And of course, right up there at the hinge point, there is a bright rainbow-colored string tied around the board.
Kind of looks over.
And like as you look, it's like it's tied around the board, and when you lift it up to look, it leads into the fucking inky black darkness beyond.
See, I didn't even have... Oh.
Whoa.
Ugh.
No, Tom, go first. I did have a question about the inky black darkness.
Okay.
I didn't have time to prepare, but as you know, Jane makes her way down, sees this. Is it, how light is it in the basement, first of all?
I mean, not especially. We'll say for the sake of argument that one of those lanterns is down there still, the ones that only seem to come on at night, and it seems to be happy down there in the dark, glowing away.
It's a fairly dim light. She comes down, looks around, and notices the plank of wood. It's just a little bit offset, a bit of draft maybe coming in from the inside, and just looks up and then sees this rainbow fucking string tied to the top of it. Huh? Anton! Hey! Oh, yeah, you fucking piece of shit. Just started lifting up the plank, started going behind it.
So what I'm going to do is I wonder, Katie, can I lessen the effect of the shadows along the walls with shadow weaving?
What,
Can I
in the
almost-
tunnel?
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, if you had some light to work with, you could move them around, but until you get to a point where there is light, not really. It's all fucking dark.
That's
So,
fine.
sadly, you cannot generate light by taking shadow away.
That is fine. I am literally Batman, so just tell me when I run up on these people because nobody's going to see me.
Yep.
Nope.
So, for the sake of explanation, for Tom as well, if he is even able to see right now, you've got tunnel, lots of this, periodic little hook/sconce situations, obviously meant to hold light, and then eventually this, which naturally the string is feeding into at the moment, and a very, very dull glow, similar to the rest of the ghost lights just beyond it. And I will let Anton interrupt as he gets there, but for the moment, you two are beyond that with your little ghost light, and Abby is just going, oh my god, look at all the barrels.
I'm gonna have to go back and get that crowbar.
Possibly.
What do you mean possibly? Look at them all.
No. I see them. I see them. What exactly is in this damn thing? And then you go ahead and try to walk up to one of the destroyed barrels. Go ahead and take a big waft. Sniff, sniff, sniff.
Oh, let's see. Hem. At this point, it has been a very, very long time since this barrel and its contents were disturbed. It is almost impossible to smell anything but dry rotting. I mean, you assume dry rotting, some way or another, kind of rotting wood and corroded metal. But man, the dust, it is musty as fuck down in these fucking tunnels. This is a basement you haven't been in for a long time. But bigger.
Sage sneezes and doesn't stop.
She like sets her stuff down, reaches over and like yanks his t-shirt up over his face, just like up over his nose.
Girl.
You're welcome. And she'll go and kind of like shove some of the barrels to see how many of them seemed to be full versus empty.
These are a bunch of very heavy barrels, but Abby is on a fucking mission. A sacred mission. She too is burdened with great purpose. And it is to find out what is in the barrels. Most of the ones near to the entrance have been demolished in ways. Many have sprung leaks over time. A lot of them seem empty. There are, however, further damages down the wall, and eventually a couple barrels down at the far end. You'd have to bring the light along with you a bit. At least plunk it halfway so you could at least get a little bit of a glow coverage.
On a barrel.
On a barrel.
That's legit.
And you finally like find one and go to like shove it, and it's like nope, full, not doing.
Oh, this one's full.
That being said, what are the exits and entrances to this place?
I mean, at the moment, you're really just seeing the one. There are, again, many struck points, and you haven't really had a chance to investigate the far wall, per se. I mean, there's a bunch of wooden paneling there. It might, maybe, be some kind of entrance or exit, or it could just be spiffy. Who knows? It looks pretty solid.
I'm going to go ahead and knock, see if it's hollow or not.
Hey, give me an investigation roll. Do it.
May I spend willpower as well?
You may.
I will do so, madam.
And we will say that Anton is basically getting close. About time the barrage of sneezes takes place. So by the time he gets there, the glow is dim, but compared to the inky black darkness of the tunnel, it's pretty clear that there's something going on in there. Let's never mind the sneezes and Abby be like, "This one has stuff in it."
He'll stick his head round again. I am invisible, and what
Totally
I'm going to
invisible.
do,
Yep.
what
Absolutely.
I'm going
Note that
to
this is what you will have to kind of in the inky blackness navigate. Thankfully, it's pretty solid. There are a couple loose bits.
yeah, takes his
But
time.
you've got the string for guidance as well.
Yes, the roll of string has been set down in front of this.
Takes his time, gets through there. Once he sees Sage and Abby, she has a light source, and
She has sensibly set it down on top
I
of the
roll for
barrel.
shadow weaving.
You're such a dick.
I get 2 successes. I make that room darker. Considerably.
Very well. Then, of a sudden, as this ability is activated, suddenly, and actually, let me quickly check and see what you had going on with your roll. 1, 2.
2, 9, 2, a 9 and a 7. It's difficulty 7 to activate.
Okay, I'm also looking over at Austin so I can give him an answer. So Sage kind of dunks, and yeah, it sounds like there could be space behind it. I mean, this is heavy wood, but yeah, it seems legit as a theory. And as you're doing that, Nabby's like, this one also has stuff in it, and suddenly it gets like tangibly darker. Like your lamp has a pretty good reach on it. That reach gets a lot shorter. Suddenly, it is very dark at this end of the room that you're standing in.
Oh dear.
You can still see the lamp. It's just not really illuminating where you are anymore.
All right. Abby, just hold on a second. I'm gonna bring the light to you. Okay?
Oh no, is it getting tired?
It must be. Sage is gonna go ahead and like
we
walk
gotta go
towards
back.
the light, grab the lantern, walk towards Abby's voice.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit hush. Abby, what's your thing? I am such a dick. I know. I'm a Shadow Lord. What's your wits? What's the fucking diff for hush again?
Let me quickly look. Take note of your shenanigans, sir. 1 moment as this thing loads.
Or 20's being a dick to me.
All right.
You deserve it.
I do.
You so do.
I do. Where the fuck is Hush?
It should have
Then
it
the
in my thing as well.
fucking-
For some reason, the R20 is not appearing for me. It's being
Oh,
weird.
okay. You might just
It's
need to
doing the thing
reload
where
it.
we're just gonna show you a white screen because you're an asshole.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. Dynamic Hush. Wits +4. So what is her wits?
What's your wits +4?
3, so 7.
And it is your wits subterfuge. Difficulty 7.
Oh, tito.
Dick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
So for
5
roughly,
turns.
yeah. So for in theory, like 15 to 20 seconds ish. So he comes over with the light. And when you turn to next make a comment or whatever, you're like, oh, it must be tired, and he's like, oh, you're right, maybe. And you go to say we should go back, and just nothing comes out of your mouth.
Oh
And she-
dear.
She pauses and says it again.
Nope.
Mouth visibly moving. I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kind of blinks. Frowns. Like pokes at her throat. Mouths something else. With a questionable look towards Sage.
What? He goes ahead and says blankly.
Can she hear him?
You can.
mouth something else. How is it bright enough? / can he read lips at all?
What are you mouthing? Because at some point this is going to
First-
drop abruptly.
First, can you hear me? Second, I can't talk.
Are you specifically mouthing, or are you trying to say?
No, she's trying to talk.
So the second bit is when it finally flicks back on. So yeah, you say I can't talk, and then you
Can't
say
talk.
yeah.
That's when Anton switches on
Can
the
you hear me
flashlight,
now?
drops blur, so he's right behind Sage, like. Poof.
Abby screams.
Ah!
And it's shriek, "You asshole!"
Sage is confused.
Sage has got the pooped himself face on again.
Yeah! Am I gonna die today? Turned around. Ah!
This is way, way brighter than your fucking lantern, by the way. So he like flicks on the flashlight, and it's like blinding light.
Oh god.
I could hear you two from a mile away.
Gee
Lord of
darn.
Shadow.
Am I not supposed to talk in the house now?
And if I wanted to, I could have killed him without you even being able to say anything as he starts to wander around, looking around the flashlight.
And? Because I'm guessing this is going somewhere.
You're too loud. There are worse things than me out there.
In the house.
Last time I cleared this place, it had a worm creature in it. And you guys wander off and leave yourselves all alone with nothing but a silly string. It's a bit reckless. But
Wait. You were in here? Specifically?
no. There was a worm thing down in the basement.
Uh-huh. Were you going to mention that at some point?
Looks over.
Like,
No.
I don't know, 2 weeks ago? Hey, explore and clean up the house, but be careful because it's infested with monsters?
It's not infested with monsters.
Then why are you worried?
Because you found a new place that I didn't know. And you didn't tell me about it.
I forgot.
Convenient. He looks around.
Douchebag.
Yeah, but you'd be
Ooh.
dead. You would be dead if I was something wormish, so save the attitude, Abigail.
Why?
Because it's going to get you nowhere with me. You wink.
Nothing
He's
gets me
wandering around.
anywhere with you, Anton. Nothing.
Hmm.
So
Say looks at the situation.
why am I going to start worrying about it now? It doesn't matter what I do. You're always mad, and I'm always childish and stupid. Can't fix it.
Then grow. Adapt. And realize what I'm trying to teach you.
You're trying to teach me to be you, and I don't want to be.
Then there. You may not like it. Hell, I don't even like it. But you want to make
So
it?
grow. Change.
Yeah. It's called being a guru, Abby. Because right now,
Oh my god.
if I had wanted to, I could have ripped Sage's head clean the fuck
You keep
off.
saying that.
Are you gonna do it now? Because I like my head where it is.
And you wouldn't have been able to scream in the dark. And you'd have
Yeah?
been alone. With
Okay.
me.
So
Yeah.
would it have been better
So other than trying to
not
convince me
bring
that you're a serial killer,
Just don't get it. But you will. When the next person dies. And, you'll get it
Oh
eventually.
my god, is this the way you talk to JJ?
JJ, I didn't talk to JJ like this.
Okay, well, maybe Lord of Shadows, we go ahead and like de-escalate our shadowness for a little bit, maybe? And we go ahead and like look at this new discovery?
De-escalate. Yeah. Sure, Sage. Just pats him on the head as if Sage has just said the stupidest thing to him.
Eh. Are we done with this contest between you two? Have you gotten out of your system? Anton?
Contest.
She's just glaring at him, like arms folded.
Contest. That what you all think? Cool. Cool. Contest. I like that one. He's wandering around.
Tom, have you returned?
I do not think so.
Oh
Jane is
dear.
having trouble with the dark.
I mean, he's it back. Okay. Now we'll let you do your plan. In the meantime,
Very well.
you have a room full of barrels. Is Anton ever going to let up on that shadow stuff?
Nope.
Still dark?
Let me
Okay.
see.
Abby heads back for the doorway, despite the darkness. Probably walks into a couple things, but she's moving carefully.
Just bring the lantern over to her. Light is important. You're talking
Nope,
to a
clearly not, because it's not going to work, because he's being a dick.
How do you know it's him?
She's guessing, honestly, but she's heard him called Lord of Shadows before, and it got dark, and then it got quiet, and then he showed up, and then he yelled at her. So
You just smirk. Adapt. Easy. And besides, just gestures with the flashlight.
she's not actually looking at him. She is making her way towards the door.
Very carefully
Very carefully.
navigating through many a barrel, both upright and mostly, honestly, disturbed, broken, cracked. The ones closest to the door outright shattered.
Sage for his part is going to go ahead and like point towards the wooden bits that he was knocking. Simply go ahead and say, "I think there's something there that would be interesting. I'm going to follow her up so that she doesn't trip." Walking away.
So yeah, on the far side of the room from the entrance, there's some wood panels. It just looks like heavy wooden paneling as part of the wall. Yay. Meanwhile, Abby is headed in the opposite direction, carefully navigating. Though now she has the lantern a bit closer, so it is somewhat easier to not thump into things. Probably kind of a godsend, considering as you get closer to the door, there's more and more broken bits that are harder to detect by just kind of feeling around.
Yeah, probably. But no, she's pretty determined to exit the room.
You may carefully clamber back out of the doorway.
She does. It's marvelous.
What is Anton doing as these two slowly but determinedly just kind of head for the fucked up, like rubble-filled door they came in through.
Just watches them leave and just shakes his head and just goes to investigate around the place himself. Like, phew.
Hello? Fucking
Oh,
dark
dear.
in here.
Jane?
The fuck's that?
It's Abby.
The fuck you doing? What the fuck you doing down here?
She's back to normal. As
I'm
normal as she is.
investigating the tunnels.
Investigating?
Well, yeah.
It's a fucking murder basement.
There's not even anything down here except
And it sounds like you're in the Iron Maiden. Get down here.
Huh?
spider webs, and the only thing down here threatening murder is Anton.
I haven't threatened murder you shit. If I wanted to murder you, I would have killed you already. Get over yourself. Jesus.
You keep talking about it.
What?
You know what? I'm just tempted to fucking leave you two fucks here in the dark and see how you manage. It's at least being mildly entertaining.
I was managing better before you showed up, so okay.
It's got fucking rocks. Oh, just give me a minute. Nope. Nobody fucking move.
We're not
I'm
going
staying
anywhere.
still, and Abby has collected her bundle of string, by the way, so it's attached. She She's picked it back up.
On the bright side, there is a string to follow, and as you get closer, there will eventually be the glow of the lantern.
And you, from the sound in the distance, the kind of the whatever corridor, whatever the fuck, you hear the sound of like tumbling rocks. As clearly she has lost her lost her patient. Just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Punch them through. Just get them.
Just putting a hole in the wall.
No, thankfully you are in the tunnel, and they are on the outside of this.
We're
door
on the
now.
outside of the
so
rocks,
they are on
thank
the
God.
tunnel side.
Yeah, well, I mean, like as she's coming through the rocks, she's just like, you know what? I'm not squeezing through here. Just fucking push them through.
They're on the same side you are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to push through to get to them. You just need to come down the tunnel.
Oh.
You're good.
Sage just go ahead and like cock a thumb as he goes ahead and sees you towards the towards the small opening, towards the ceiling where some of the debris has gone ahead and like settled into a nice little entrance. Lord Status is in there. As well as just a bunch of barrels and, signs of recent Garu activity.
Yeah, I get it. Murder basement. Great, thank you. Wonderful.
For Anton's sake, give me an investigation while you're in there since you're nosing around.
So is that it? You guys done having fun playing, cops in the murder basement, or is that it?
I wanted to know where all the tunnels went. There's more of them. I'm not done.
Oh, you going that way? That points behind her.
I was kind of planning on going deeper. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have this huge house and not even know what half the rooms are, and in this case, not know what's behind half the walls. So,
probably skeletons.
I haven't found any yet, actually. There's like some old mouse nests, but that's about it.
All right. For Anton, since you're poking around on the other side, there is wood paneling on the far wall. I mean, it's wood paneling. There's definitely obvious, like, borderline explosive damage just inside the room, which is where all this rubble has come from. It looks like a big hunk of the ceiling came down for some reason. The interesting bit is that it's pretty clear that, like, from the tunnel side, like, assuming this picture was taken from the side that's the tunnel itself instead of inside the room, it's pretty clear that that stuff didn't just all bumble out into the hallway. There are some pretty deep gouges on the stones. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that someone either very much wanted in or very much wanted out after the ceiling came down, and it has been kind of dug out by massive, massive claw marks.
Kind of nods as he's looking down at it.
And the barrels closest to the entrance and also this explosive force have been the most visibly damaged. Most of the ones even into the room are cracked or knocked over. But that is what you're seeing from your side as this thrilling conversation about skeletons in the walls is going on in the tunnel.
All right, so you sugar muffins, do whatever you want. I'm gonna go. I guess fucking cave exploring. Great. This is what I wanted to do with my day. I want to do
It's
that.
not mandatory.
No, it's not. But leaving any of you alone is dangerous.
You've been leaving me alone for like weeks.
It's just a tight smile as carries on down the tunnel. It's like, yep.
Other than breaking that one vase, nothing has actually happened.
Is Jane just walking into the darkness beyond without any sort of guidance or
Pretty
light?
much. Pretty much.
Oh dear.
Yeah, just kind of like trailing along the wall with a hand.
Do you want to follow her so that she doesn't get lost? Because if she gets lost and gets separated and she's all by herself, she might
Could
get into
also
trouble.
be murdered horribly by someone sneaking up on us, yes.
Well, it's not necessarily murder that I'm worried about. It's more like you fall, you have an accident, you're alone, that kind of thing.
Which is why I brought you.
No. That's the thing. Abby, you did good. You did good by bringing me. I am appreciative of it. Jane is going off by her lonesome.
Yeah, no, let's follow her.
Okay.
I was gonna go look at the rest of them anyway. I just want to.
You're doing good. You're doing good. You found something interesting. We're gonna go ahead and follow it. You haven't done anything wrong. So let's go ahead and make sure our sister doesn't fall to her death. And he's
Right.
just gonna go ahead and like walk in the direction of Jane.
Is Anton going to stay in the chamber, or is he going to follow this merry band of misfits down?
I mean, I'm going towards the chamber where Anton is.
Oh,
where I
never
like to
mind.
go.
You
she's
said
going
continue
that
down
way.
the hallway.
I don't know this layout. I joined late. Don't expect
Well,
me.
I told you, good sir.
Okay, if Jane's going like in the chamber, we'll leave
She's
her
going in the
to it.
chamber, then we're gonna leave her to it and go
Yep.
down the
Yeah.
hallway.
All right, so yeah,
Okay.
you've basically got a big hall like this. On one of the walls, there is a doorway where it has been fucking just fucked. Fucking Abby and Sage are back out in the hall with a lantern and the spool of string. There is a much brighter light inside the room as Anton is looking around with flashlight, and yeah, you can totally clamber up there and through. As the other two will head down the hallway, I presume.
Eat.
So real quick, like before you two continue on, and I will assume that you are walking while this is happening. What is happening in our delightful chamber of abandoned, no longer goods? Once Jane clambers through and spills out the other side.
I mean, you'll find Anton like kneeling down with the flashlight, examining probably one of the rocks with the fucking gouge in it, like studying it.
Good morning.
Yo,
So, murder basement.
either someone was trying to get out or someone was trying to get in. Especially after the ceiling came down.
This place?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere else to get out of here or get in or what?
He'll look down further down the barrels because I'm assuming like it's a picture and there's like a fucking clear open door in the picture, so I'm assuming it's by that. Like he'll look down that way. If I'm following the picture logic.
It is not a clear open doorway. In that section, as opposed to brick and whatnot, there's, heavy wooden slats. Like, all tidily put. It doesn't look like a blatant door, but it's
Starts to walk.
potentially more than a wall.
He starts to pick his way through very carefully, and he's like, well, if they caused a cave-in, either someone came in or... Because this is obviously Guru, maybe. So what made him collapse the fucking ceiling? First of all, he starts picking his way through towards that flat.
Yeah, you pick away along. What you doing,
Maybe.
Jane?
Something being followed, hiding from something.
I mean, my main concern is when I found this place, there was a worm creature here. I killed it, but main concern is that it could be that, it could be fucking anything. We don't fucking know. We barely know this fucking place. This place is fucking massive. I was trying to make it through to the fucking dope squad over there.
Is that what that whole shouting was about?
They got scared because they realized that, I just proved a point. Steps over.
They just sneak up on him?
Did a few things that I did a few things, meaning that if I was the enemy, Sage would be dead and she couldn't scream and she'd be dead too. There are worse things than me out there.
There's worse things than all of us, so there's no point in using that logic, but luckily it was you rather than whatever.
Exactly that. But hey, spreads his hands. Let's
Ooh, we lost you for a second.
Yeah,
That was
that
interesting.
What the
Discord
shit?
did it weird. Yeah, Google Chrome's been really weird lately. You just anyway, he points at the slats. That could be something. Where did the other two go?
Oh, they went to go bumblefuck the way down some tunnels, or I don't know. Maybe someone to go hang out and just make out or something, probably.
Cool. Right, we'll figure out these slats and let's see if we can figure out where they went after.
All right. So what? Try and just rip them out, or
No, let's check them out first. We don't want to fucking drop the gestures up at the ceiling.
yeah, she'll make her way over.
I like shine the flashlight on so I can get like a proper view of what we're looking at.
I mean, it looks like good, solid wood panels. Well, more boards, but very good, like solid. Like that doesn't look like it was meant to be removed.
Okay.
They're just kind of stacked up, going horizontally.
We'll look over it, Jane. So if something was getting in, and something was big enough to do that to the ceiling, they would have made sure that board like it clicks fingers.
Maybe whatever it was when it got in, someone tried to trap it in here. Looks back at the rocks. Got out, did whatever it did, and it covered some exits.
Yeah.
Either that came in, someone tried to trap it in here, it got out, they killed it, then they sealed up the exit, or tried to at least.
No, that was brought down by force. Something wanted out. Or wanted in. That's puts the shotgun over her shoulder. Let's double back with the rest of them. Just to be safe.
Alright.
Keep your eyes open. Just
I always keep my eyes open. You just keep that thing pointed behind you, not at me.
Yeah, just he climbed back out, keeping the flashlight ahead of him, and we'll just imagine look at the ground and watch where the fucking footsteps went, because it would be that easy.
I mean, there's this beautiful rainbow-colored string just leading off
Yeah.
into the darkness. It's almost like they had a fucking point and purpose to bringing that thing with them.
He's just gonna smirk. Fucking string. Just wanders down the laneway.
Rainbow colored.
Yeah, well, watch this. He's gonna pick up the string and just tug. You know what I mean? Like all the way back, smirking.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, being a dick. All right. The other two of you have continued down the tunnels. The tunnels of destiny. And you've bypassed some more points where there's bits of where the brick has just kind of given over time. Like at one point, and again, the sconces have been regular, since I know you're watching that. Measured out rather nicely. You will eventually come to a couple points where maybe there's a little bit of what looks like some water damage and some crumbled brick. Kind of a admittedly, it will not be this waterlogged, nor will the damage be this extensive. But a point where similar to this, it's almost in that case it'll be like water has trickled and trickled and trickled and worn at the brick until some of the brick has kind of collapsed into the hallway. And you will eventually come to kind of a split in the tunnel. Whether you can go right or left.
So there's a point where there's water damage that has collapsed a wall.
Glass is part of it. It doesn't look like the whole walls come down. It just looks like there's a point where water has perhaps periodically trickled in. You can see the water stains on the brick. And higher up, some of the bricks have kind of collapsed under the eventual wear because, I mean, older brick, older materials, eventually it just wore down.
Does it look like there's any danger of more of the tunnel collapsing in that area, or is it just a chunk of wall that kind of crumbled away?
It's a chunk high up towards the ceiling that has kind of broken and crumbled, and you've got a bit of a little pile on the hall or in the tunnel floor, and I mean a clear sign of where it came from, but I mean it doesn't look like the whole thing's coming down. If nothing else, the periodic wooden struts still look solid.
Okay. What's behind the crumbled brick?
You want
Hey.
a boost? Sage willing to go ahead and boost you up to go ahead and see a little bit better. He'll hand you the lantern first, and then
She will actually, since I suspect the lantern probably has glass components, she will actually use her phone for this.
Okay.
That way, if it gets dropped, nothing breaks.
Yeah.
Except potentially her screen.
It's still life-proof.
Oh, that's right. You're life proof. All right. You giving her a boost, buddy?
Totally.
Yeah.
He'll go ahead and like steady himself against the wall. Go ahead and bring his like hands low to go ahead and take one foot up and boost her.
All right. You give her a boost, and you shine your light through the little crack in the wall, the little busted bit. And it's not quite big enough for you to squirm through. I mean, to be fair, if you really wanted to, you could assess whether or not you could widen the hole a bit. But for the moment, especially with the really bright flashlight app reflecting, there's definitely water in them there halls.
So she can see through into the other side, and there's...
Yep, but there is actually not as if you're looking down as if there was an intersection there, but almost as if you're looking into a similar parallel hallway. But there's definitely water on the floor there. There's no telling how deep it is with light reflecting off the surface, but...
Oh, crud.
What do you see?
This project got a lot bigger. There's another tunnel on the other side. Go ahead and lay
Okay.
down.
He goes ahead and like gingerly lets you down.
Oh, boy. All right. And she pulls out her notebook and makes more notes. Like so. We are here.
I'm guessing you don't want to go ahead and sidetrack us down that deep dark hallway you know nothing about, right?
Honestly, I'd have to widen the hole for us to both get through, which I don't really want to. I don't know a lot about the structural integrity of this, so that's probably something to do once we had like, I don't know, extra boards or something to put in.
Okay. We can see about like requisitioning some supplies from the bear man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Did
maybe.
you hear? Did you hear? Bill
What?
got to meet his people. Bears.
What?
He got to meet Bear, big old bear.
Oh, good.
The way he described it, it was like meeting his actual family. So good for him.
That is good.
Yes.
He doesn't ever talk about his family. Well, he doesn't talk about much except business, so I suppose that's yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so she scribbles more notes.
So you're just gonna go ahead and stand there and be the light man, waiting for the mademoiselle, the lady, to go ahead and lead on wherever she wants to.
Yeah. All right. And as you continue onward, you will, as previously mentioned, come to a split. You can go right or left.
Was the crumbling brick in the right?
We'll say
of
the
left?
crumbling brick was in the right wall.
What do you think? Right or left?
I think.
And
Wait.
when the string jerks, she kind of looks down at the roll of it, looks back down the tunnel, glares.
Sage is gonna go ahead and like stomp his foot on the string so it doesn't vibrate so readily. I say we wait for those two to come over here, and then we make that decision because I don't like being separated too much.
Very well. Would Team B like to join Team A?
She looks slightly aggrieved, as if she has been betrayed.
Oh, how obvious is this betrayal?
It's pretty obvious.
Okay, then he'll go ahead and like lift his foot up, and then just sort of, well, I guess
not
we're
not the
going-
string stomping, just
But I don't want to get along. The face.
Eh.
So as our later team joins our lead team, our point team. Anyone? We lost them.
Oh
What?
no.
Did Torna
No.
die?
No, they just don't say anything. They just kind of walk up.
Oh, okay, they are joining though.
I was gonna
It's
say,
gonna-
give me something, Jesus.
They just kind of walk up there, kind of, flashlight. You could probably see the flashlight because they're not exactly hiding it. You see bright light echo down the hallways. They kind of just walk down.
Anyway,
All right. Anton, would you like to accompany us as we go ahead and explore other parts of your estate?
Just gives an eyebrow raise. Do you guys notice the things on the ground?
which thing's on the ground?
Claw marks.
Yeah, it looks like somebody either dug their way out of the cellar or in. I'm not sure which.
Murder basement.
Especially since it looks like a Krynos, probably. Meaning something. Just examine the walls as well, like seeing if there's any similar claw marks along each of the walls as well.
Nope.
Yeah, obviously didn't come down this way.
For what it's worth, this tunnel is of a size where you could take Krynos. You'd become immediately claustrophobic, but you could do it.
You'd
I
have
know,
to
but
bend over a lot.
He's thinking, like, whatever happened in this cave thing, this was somebody not thinking, so he's just, like, looking around, essentially.
Hey, Anton.
What?
What do you know about your ancestors, the ones that built this place?
They're Romanian, as he says, climbing up.
Wait, but I mean, were they like us?
I don't know. Keeps walking.
Are you
At least
going
one
right
of
or
them
left
was.
as you boldly stroll off?
I'll go left. No, fuck it, right. I'm right at.
Okay.
She just kind of like leans around the corner, just watches him. Like, okay, right it is.
I assume Jane is just kind of following. Is Jane commenting at all? Please be
Yes.
fixed, Tom's mic. There we go.
What?
Okay.
My headphones just died for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Sage is going to go ahead and point to the string and say, you want to create a new lead?
For now, it's mostly for making sure that we can find our way back. Just in
All
case.
right.
I wasn't sure how many twists and turns there were going to be, and that way I don't forget which way I turned.
Smart thinking. So let's go ahead and keep using it then. Say he says he's going to go ahead and pick up the lead of the string and follow behind.
Yep, come on, Sugar Puffs. It's great. Let's go.
We're not sugar puffs. We're
Nah.
proud Lion warriors. Rawr.
Shh. Jesus Christ, you all guys fucking echo as he's walking.
It's good.
So rather than ascending, you will be descending as you curve off to the right, and it is in fact a curve, and kind of at this point, the earthen bit is giving away. It's definitely getting more packed, more solid, and when you're going down here, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's just carved into what was already there, or somebody put in stone steps and enough earthy nonsense was tracked around to just kind of build up the corners and stuff. It's a hard tell either way, but damn it, we lost Tom. But
Oh, dear.
but yeah, you come around, we got Tom back. Everything's fine, guys.
What in
Yay.
the shit is going on with my PC today?
It is
It's rebelling.
rude. It's being rude.
So yeah, you'll curve around to the right It curves into some steps. And as you get towards the lower ones, yeah, they're damp. They're dampy damp. The low, like as you get to a certain point, it's condensation damp, and then as you get to the bottom, it's look, standing water.
So you said it curved around. Does it curve around maybe to parallel the previous tunnel?
Not quite. No,
Not quite yet.
that wouldn't be any fun, would it?
Well, we may not actually have to break that hole any bigger anyway. I don't know, though. This doesn't look straight enough.
What do we suppose is down further yonder?
Just looks down the water. Taking great care once it gets a bit damper and it gets a bit more, that sort of thing. He takes his time going down the steps because slips happen.
They do.
So
I
he
may,
takes
in
his time
fact,
and
I will actually make
yeah.
all of you do an athletics check just to see if one of you botches.
all right.
Admittedly, anything short of a botch and you'll be fine. But just on the off chance, because it is slippery stone. You're good, you're good.
Ye-
You're good.
Hey!
Everyone's good. So yeah. There may be a couple of moments where feet kind of slip a little bit here and there because, man, that is wet stone. But yeah, you get down. Eventually, since Anton's in the lead, he'll hit a step where it splashes. Like there's a little bit of water over the step. You're pretty sure it's not the last step, but it's hard to tell because with the glow of the stark light of flashlights and the glow and whatnot, all you can really see is the surface of the water.
Mm-hmm. He'll stop. Just probably take the time to kind of see, can he get the layout? Like, are we going deep underwater? Is this just what, you know what I mean? Kind of assessing himself, assessing his bearings, essentially.
It's hard to tell. It's not like there's a good solid consistent ceiling. It doesn't look like you're going to be waist deep, but I mean, this could be anywhere from you're going to have, wet shoes to you might be in up to the knee. It's hard to tell until you keep just kind of testingly stepping forward and see when you hit bottom.
Hope you like your shoes, guys. As he just takes very careful steps in.
Abby looks down at her shoes, which have probably been soaking wet before, and just kind of shrugs.
Is anyone going to balk at stepping into beautiful, murky, can't see, but this is halfway up my shin water?
If we're doing it, then we're doing this.
Yep. Then just doesn't give a fuck. Steps in. It's like, yep.
Sweet. You forge boldly onward into waterlogged tunnels. Let's see what else I got going on here. So, very much more of the same. That is the wrong button. Let's see what else y'all can stumble across. That's back there. Alright, let's play a fun game. You head down a bit of tunnel. Abby, are you still compulsively noting stuff? I imagine if
yeah.
you're probably falling behind a bit if Anton... I mean, it depends on whether Anton and Jane are showing any patience for this. For what it's worth, Abby does have a tape measure, and she is periodically taking note of things. She does have the little sketch pad out and is kind of trying to track where you guys are going, roughly. And does seem to have a fucking compulsive need to measure between the sconces / hooks in the wall that are obviously meant to.
She's got
put
that
lighting
down to
on.
a step count kind of thing.
Probably.
Thankfully.
But yeah, she is periodically taking note of something. Let's see, we headed right, curved around. We'll eventually come to a point where you have and for Abby's sake, again, it's kind of one of those weird halfway points between where two sconces should be. There is a sconce, and there's a tunnel in the opposite wall. Heading, starkly off to the right, 90-degree angle.
One more time.
Basically, you will come to a point where you guys are headed down this tunnel. You're in not quite knee-deep water.
Yep.
and there is a stark, 90-degree off to the right tunnel, and right there at the mouth of the tunnel is a hook for a lantern, which is roughly, it breaks up the consistent count. It's halfway through your step count between hooks.
How far up is it?
Hmm?
How far up is the hook?
Oh, I mean, it's roughly, it's the same height. It's just she normally has, I don't know, 20 steps from hook to hook to hook to hook. This one's about 10 steps in. There's a hook there, and there's a tunnel going down the opposite direction.
Okay. If Abby goes ahead and points it out to Sage, Sage will stop for a hot second.
So hook on the left, tunnel on the right.
She kind of stops, taps the wall under the hook, looks down the tunnel, looks at the other two sconces. Looks at it, and then we'll walk over and checks the wall on either side of the other tunnel.
Haha! Give me investigation. I think Sage knows what you're doing too, so feel free to also give me investigation since you guys know what you're looking for.
Cool.
And that's intelligence investigation? No,
Perception.
perception.
Gotta find it first.
That makes sense.
I don't see it.
And for Anton and Jane's sake, you get to this point where a tunnel branches off, and while you guys may have stopped to kind of consider which way to go, or kept boldly forging onward, Abby, starts poking around, getting weird, and is investigating where the tunnel branches off. There's a wooden post to either side, right at that corner, kind of shoring up, and she is all over them.
Depending on my diff, I might have gotten one.
You got one. It takes you a minute, but she and Sage each take one of those posts and start kind of combing it over, looking for something, and there will eventually, from Abby's side, I presume, be a aha!
Ha! Thought so.
What?
And she'll pull up her phone to illuminate it better.
And yeah, scratched. How tall is Abby? Roughly.
We're gonna go with 5'5".
All right, so about a foot above Abby's head, on that post, she'll point out where there's shallowly at this point, maybe wear and tear, maybe it was always shallow. There will be a little kind of symbol etched into the wood. Not deeply, not easy to pick out. But there is another one of those weird, glyphy, symbol-y doodads scratched into the wood.
She copies it down. Is it just one, or is it a line of them again?
It will be just one.
She'll go check over on Sage's side as well, then.
Sage is blind.
So this weird glyphy symbol.
Mhm.
That, sweet ancestors dice, particularly going for the knife since he founded this place.
All right, Abby, you
What
go
is
over.
success?
We'll say that for the sake of argument, the plane that is essentially if you're looking at a street sign, the side parallel to the tunnel that you'd be going into. So on that wall is essentially where you'll find it. Yeah, I feel like I should pull up paint at some point. But basically on either side, on the inside of that quote doorway to, that entrance to the tunnel is the same mark on either side. And what
if the tunnel weren't there, you could still see the glyphs.
No.
Okay.
You have to be standing just inside the mouth of the tunnel, look right,
Okay.
look left, and they're on the inside. Whereas on the outside, if you investigate further, there is a different mark. Much simpler. And you succeed. So let me jump up real quick to pee, and you can fuss at each other about, look at the thing! Give me 1 second.
I think there's one here, one here, one, and two more here.
Yeah, looks like somebody was marking some things.
Yeah. Hang on, let me copy them down and compare them to the first set.
You do this kind of thing often in the shin high water?
Sage, now's not the time for chat up lines. You can do that when we get back up.
Just
Gotta
making
admit, Sage,
conversation.
that was a pretty shit one. You lean up against the wall, examining the glyph.
Because that like wave his hand, I'm just making conversation.
Do you do archaeology, Jane? Because if you do, I'd like to examine your fossils. And nudges are like smirking.
What? So you're calling me old now?
Yeah. After all, you're like a 40-year-old.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I'm really 40.
Yep.
You're not 40.
How do you know?
Fair point. I don't actually have any idea. You don't look 40.
It's skincare these days.
Yep, you and Sharon Stone and what's her face? Cindy Crawford.
Who?
Cindy Crawford. And the lady from Full House that does the advertisement on the TV.
Television show, Jane.
Like, I gathered that much, but honestly, like I haven't got nope, no idea.
Really stupidly expensive skin moisturizer. Don't worry. It's not a big deal.
I came back at the best moment.
So while we're here, obviously, I'll just relaxing, chilling out.
Sage goes ahead and sneezes.
The comfortable basement, tunnel, catacomb, whatever.
All right.
You know what?
So,
That's about it.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, Karen.
All right, so I'm going to reverse that audibly in the thing in case it needs to be come up later. When you are facing towards the tunnel, as though like you're looking down it, it'll show the more complex one will be on the outside as you're looking towards, and the simple one will be on the inside if you look right or left.
Enter and exit, maybe?
So yeah, the two facing the sconce will be consistent. The two on the inside are both simple but slightly deviant. And Anton, that is a success.
Yes.
You're going to complicate my fucking life because I hadn't necessarily planned everything out. All right. What are you doing once you feel like, again, it's kind of like reaching through mud, but you do feel like some kind of connection. You get a little bit of clarity.
Trying to understand what the language is and what do each of these symbols mean.
You don't get necessarily like good clarification as far as like what is this language called, but you do look up and seem to get a gist of what the symbols mean looking at them. The two identical symbols, basically if you're facing to look down the tunnel and it's to the right and the left of it, like facing you, essentially seems to translate to something that roughly to you seems like, I don't know, barracks or bolt hole or den or something like that.
Okay.
And as they're pointed out to you, the ones on the inside, they both kind of read exit, but you get kind of a different tone with each one. Actually, one is just kind of like, yeah, they both say exit, but each has like a slight deviance, and one definitely means like inside exit, one means outside exit.
It was big examine them.
The one, like, basically if you're standing into the tunnel and you look left back the way you came and you look up at the wall, you're seeing inside exit. The one if you look right and look further down the tunnel that you haven't explored says outside exit.
Den, inside exit, outside exit. Cool.
You can read them?
Yep.
And she will flip around her sketchbook and hold it up. I've got a list.
I'm reckoning it, they probably all mean the same thing, or they're each directional.
I don't know. The first pair, and she points to the 2 lines of runes that she has copied down. They were opposite one of the sconces, but nothing was open, so I don't know what it says.
Just looks at it.
Could be a directory.
A lot of those are not going to have distinct meaning besides, like, the top 2 essentially read something along the lines of imprisoned or imprisonment. And then basically it's 2 rows top to bottom. The top on each side reads the same. And as it goes down, these things don't translate into things that you know. But it's definitely kind of the sirens and red flags kind of thing. You definitely get the feeling it's like, oh, that's not good. Whatever's there is not good. That's lovely.
He almost sharply takes the fucking notepad and looks at it.
She frowns. What?
That means imprisonment.
Maybe it's a good thing that there's nothing open.
It's not a good thing. Where is this? Points at it.
A number of feet down the hallway from the entrance. On a blank wall.
So this is the den. Points. That's the outside exit. Points. Inside exit.
Exit to what?
Note he says inside exit as he's pointing literally back the way you came, where if you
into the house.
followed in a straight line, yeah, you'd come out into the basement.
Wait, so we're saying there's an exit to the sun somewhere?
And probably outside. That might explain where all the water's coming from.
Probably. More important question is he points down at the symbol. That one.
What's imprisoned? And can it get out? Has it gotten out?
There's an eyebrow raise of, let's go find out. If my hunch is correct, I might have already killed it. If my hunch is wrong,
be good.
Well, there's a reason I told you all to keep quiet. As he starts to walk back up, essentially, we're, going the direction where Abby had pointed him.
She will take him back and show him the piece of wall, unless something stops them.
I assume you're just kind of winding the string as you go.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically you go back up the damp staircase, around the curve, and back down the tunnel, past the crack in the top of the wall, past the collapsed doorway, and a good bit of the way back towards the entrance, though not quite far enough that you're really seeing the light from the slat. And what you find there is, it looks, to be fair to Abby, it looks pretty fucking inconspicuous. It's something that everyone could have easily walked past, but her obsessive measuring, and as you're recognizing it, and probably as she points it out even, there is a sconce that's about halfway between 2 of them, like an extra just kind of thrown in the middle, and across from it are 2 posts, and as you're coming back and looking at it now, having seen the one side tunnel, it's about the same distance apart. So we'll say as you're coming back on your left side, there is a little hook there. You could easily just pop the lantern on. And on the right side is more wall with 2 posts set about a tunnel's width apart. And as I imagine you're all going to investigate, as opposed to one single rune at about the 6-foot height. At the 6-foot height, you have that consistent glyph, and then you have several more coming down beneath it on either side. The 2 messages are not exactly the same, but they're both the kind of thing that, while it doesn't clearly translate to Anton, it definitely stinks of, like, something bad is here. There's something bad, and we put it here, and now it's here.
And he'll, when they get there, he'll put his finger to his lips and lean up against the wall, and I'll spend the willpower point for whisper catching.
Oh, will you?
Yes.
Okay. And it's just spend a willpower to activate?
Yep.
All right. Let's play a game. Hello.
Hi.
Naturally.
Glorious.
I've been rolling 1s and 2s every time I roll a chance side today until now. All right. So, Anton, you guys get back, and I assume Abby and Sage are pointing out the inconsistencies and whatnot. Yeah. And yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
We were just agreeing.
Okay. So yeah. You pointed out, and as you're pointing out, this set was from this side, the set was from that side, probably kind of asking like, are you sure you don't know what any of these mean specifically? He finally just kind of shushes you and puts his ear against a brick wall and activates whisper catching. And in a weird way, I'm gonna make this a little extra special. Give me an alertness check, Anton, so I know exactly how to describe this. Oh, that is a 9 and an 8. All right, so you put your ear to the wall, and you kind of, I imagine, even kind of squint your eyes shut a little bit, like you're trying to really focus on this, even with whisper catching. And what you hear initially just kind of sounds like maybe somewhere beyond the wall, like maybe there's a crack in something, maybe wind is kind of hissing through, maybe wind is kind of rasping through, echoing a little bit. But as you sit there and you listen and you really like pour out into it, you've got 2 successes. It's kind of like eerie, raspy, very, very low key, barely detectable, but as a very slow breathing pattern. Like you finally catch that there's 2 pitches, and it you initially kind of trick yourself and think, oh, maybe that's just kind of wind shifting. And no, that is something.
Waits. It's probably for a good long time. I imagine anyone. They're all kind of staring at him oddly, and then he'll eventually just say, "He lets out the tiniest whisper. There's a person in there.
How do you know it's a person?
I can hear them breathing."
That doesn't mean it's a person.
He just doesn't say anything. He just takes a breath. There's a person in there, whatever the fuck it is.
She just like points at him when he says, or whatever the fuck it is. Which would appear to be what she meant in the first place.
Well, if there's an exit to the outside, maybe whatever it is wandered in from there.
No, Sage. That glyph means in prison. Something was brought here and put here.
The question is why and what it is.
And survived this long.
Oh dear. I'm gonna roll ancestors one more time, kitty, because I have a suspicion, and Anton has the same fucking suspicion.
That's pretty fucking ace roll. What are you asking?
Right for the knife. Did you put a fucking vampire in the fucking wall?
The response comes thusly. Give me one moment. I switch the picture for emphasis. Damn it, where'd he go? Come back! Oh, that's right. I have an ancestors folder now. Aha! As the answer comes back, roughly to the tune of, leeches do not breathe. Do not be silly.
Then what did you put behind the fucking wall?
Something that needs to stay behind the fucking wall. One might
What the
assume.
fuck? What the fuck is it? How the fuck do you not know what's behind the fucking wall in your own creepy fucking mansion?
Is
Did
this
I say I
happening out
was not
loud?
aware? I would love for Anton to be doing this out loud. It would make my fucking day. But
No,
Okay.
but that'll give
Just
that would
checking.
fucking signal to the fucking creepy thing that we're
Yeah.
there.
I mean, to
You know,
be
just-
fair, you know for a fact that just down the way a bit is the room where you made Abby scream like a fucking banshee.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, did I say I did not know, or did I tell you that perhaps you should leave it there?
What is it?
Do not worry about it.
I need to fucking worry about it because, well, I don't know about you, old buddy, old pal, old grandpa. We're the ones living in this fucking place. So I would like to know the secret doomsday device that's in the fucking basement.
Do not break the barriers and do not disturb the spirits that keep it there.
What the fuck is it?
It is much bigger.
Fuck
than
is it?
you.
Okay, well, look, I get it, but Miss fucking Dorothy Day over there and her tag team buddy Scooby Doo and Grimfuck are not gonna just go, oh yeah, no, we'll totally leave it behind the wall. So give me an explanation that they'll believe.
Have you ever heard of Darwinism? This is probably
Yes.
before his time and a terrible joke, but I don't care. I believe that anyone
Yes.
who wishes to survive will understand the meaning of imprisoned and dangerous, and the many, many other things that are carved on the post. Do
What
not
does it do?
disturb the things that are holding it there.
What does it do for this place?
It stays in a cage.
All right, buddy, all right, Grandpa Grams. We're gonna have to start playing ball here because, like, I am the fucking lord of this fucking manor since I've all the rest of the family didn't turn but me. What
Actually,
the fuck is it?
hear just the most obnoxiously paternal chuckle you have ever heard in your fucking life echo in the back of your head. You are still a Clea.
How furious does Anton look?
Oh, we fucking fists are balling like a fucking clip. You get dead far. You know what I mean?
Abby is looking at him like he's insane. Like, what?
You know,
He's experiencing extrasensory perceptions that is making him batshit insane and crazy and
you
mad.
know, maybe we should just leave whatever's down here alone and go up and just get Patch, completely wasted.
Turns and just head just snap sharply. She has a great idea. We're leaving that alone.
That bad, huh?
That is to be not disturbed. Both in the Umbra as well. Look specifically at Sage right in the eyes.
What?
I mean it, Starboy.
He goes ahead and points to you when he goes ahead and starts. Don't you do that to me? Don't you start that with me?
Pulls Sage right in, like uncomfortably close. I'll tell Zordon that you fucked around, Sage.
How?
Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right. There's no need to threaten the kid's lighthouse. All right. Come on.
He just has this confused and bemused like expression on his face.
Anton, put the hippie down.
Just takes a breath. That thing has been put there in a cage by my Guru ancestors for a very specific reason. Looks up reasons that I don't fucking know yet.
And you know what? Those reasons are entirely above my fucking pay grade. So
Let's have this discussion elsewhere, maybe. Since you're getting so excited.
I'm all up for changing venues, and I'm all up for letting that sleeping giant lie.
We're gonna have to tell fucking Heidi. He grumbles as he's walking.
And
Okay.
eventually we're going to have to finish mapping down here, but maybe now's not the best time.
Oh, you're just a Cleus. I can't tell you this about the secret doomsday device in the middle of my house. Ooh,
You're what?
starts walking up,
A what?
walking up the stairs.
What's a Cleus?
I don't fucking know his stupid fucking Romanian language for fuckboy or something. I don't fucking know. Fucking
You're Romanian.
Doesn't mean he speaks it.
Romanian ancestry, Jane. Different fucking thing.
I think we should go. Let's walk. And we're walking. He's Sage like behind him, like waving his hands, like we're walking and we're walking away from the monsters.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. So not only we have a murder basement, we have a murder basement prison.
Ooh,
I mean, that
just-
kind of makes sense. What else would you put in a murder basement?
I don't know, maybe murder. There's a distinct lack of murder in this basement.
Well, now,
The
yes.
general impression I'm getting is we've got an outside, which is probably where the water comes in. We've got an inside, which is back up that way. We've got a den or barracks type of thing, which I'm assuming is maybe some remnants of some type of armory. Maybe. Spreads his hands. That's what the symbol
Maybe.
said.
Oh,
You see, this is why
there's
I just
also a
like.
parallel set of tunnels, though.
Well, you know what? We're going to leave them alone because they could be tied to the murder machine.
For now, yes, but we need to eventually know what's in them. It is safer to know than not know.
No. No,
Oh.
it's not. Not from what they're saying. It is. Puts his hammer on every. You ever heard of Darwinism?
She takes like a deep breath, like, yes, I realize that, Anton, but we have just established in the last 5 minutes that we need to be a lot more careful where we go in the Umbra as well. Or the other side. She probably doesn't say Umbra because I don't think she knows the word. So that's kind of important. And we wouldn't have known that if we weren't looking at stuff down here.
Yes. And we could have broken the seals to open everything. Wandering around. Let's just.
And I could trip down the main giant staircase and break my neck, but that is not actually going to stop me from going up the stairs.
Just rubs a bit of his
We
temple.
just have to be careful. I know.
Maybe we could have a group meeting on this instead of wandering around. How about that? So that
Yeah,
way
guys, come on. Let's do
the
some.
entire group knows what's going on, rather than Scooby and the gang wander down a hallway and unleash the devil machine down another hallway.
Team building.
Look, just dial it back from 11.
I am not dialing back. I am, in fact, being quite compromising. Normally, I would say no, but I'm saying let's get everybody informed. That way, we don't run into anything suspicious. Anything that's suddenly above our pay grade, or because I'm not the clearest.
Oh, okay. You had a bad talk with your grandpappy. Family's difficult sometimes.
Let's just go upstairs. Okay.
And as you, I assume, are one by one exiting into the basement through the slat, don't worry, cloyingly calling to you from the base of the stairs that lead out the hatch is a barrel with Booze 2 painted on it.
That is the insanely over-oaked and incredibly terrifyingly tannic red wine.
Yes.
Jane immediately gets a glass. She went out at one point and bought some actual nice wine glasses. So she just picks up one of her nice wine glasses and fills one up. Like, yep, I'm fancy now. Deal with it. So
Sage is gonna go ahead and bury his face into his armpit for a hot second as he goes ahead and like coughs and sneezes.
Abby finishes winding the string back up and will set the duster next to the stairs and heads upstairs. She does not actually seem interested in drinking.
Oh, Sage is gonna go ahead and replace the ghost lamp. Go ahead and stretch. Okay.
Anto just walks ahead of everybody, goes straight for fucking Madame herself. Madame wandering off into the middle of nowhere in the mansion. Heidi.
I wasn't sure which one you meant for a second. Very well.
You truck back up to where your room is / her room is, and you find her as a Heidi might do. In fact, you all find her as a Heidi might do. I mean, Anton is one of the few people who has a no shit bed here. Most people have not bothered to actually move proper furniture. There's air mattresses and whatnot. Jane's got that nice single that she didn't ask for. But Anton actually has a decent, like, 4-poster bed. And Heidi, as you walk in, is, barefoot, kind of balanced on the top of the headboard with one hand on the post and one hand extended up so that she can paint on the ceiling.
Heidi.
Hmm?
That's why we get a chair. So you don't fall.
Chair's not tall enough.
We're trying to get a ladder then so you don't fall.
Oh, you have a ladder now?
We're getting one so you don't fall.
Oh! Brightens up and just hops down onto the fucking mattress. Boink, 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 boink.
Also, a new rule. Basement for you. The little creepy passageway that we all found. You're not allowed to go down there ever. Ever.
You mean under the stairs?
Yes.
She, like, visibly kind of stiffens up. And
That is-
paintbrush in hand, so that it ruins the sleeve of her shirt, kind of reaches over and idly starts scratching her elbow. I don't want to go under the stairs.
What? No, good. It is a 23-hour lockdown. No, nothing goes down the stairs. Ever.
Okay.
You stay here. Not under stairs, okay?
I don't want to go under the stairs.
Yeah, no, nobody's making you.
Okay.
It's just puts up his hands. There's some serious stuff down there, and don't want you getting hurt.
She starts to, like, clamber down off the bed. Scampers over to lunge hug Anton, because you know what? He put his hands up close enough. That seemed like an invite. It's okay. I don't want to go under the stairs.
All right. Make sure Becca knows.
Okay.
Just tell her that I'm pretty serious about it. No one except the guru go down the stairs.
You don't think Becca could fit? She has shoulders.
You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm gonna go. I hate company. He puts the shotgun in the room and fills off. I'll be back later.
Are you leaving?
I'm going out for a bit. I don't like people, so there's the walk towards the door.
You get kicked puppy face on your way out.
I'll be back in about 3 hours, Heidi.
Okay. So, I assume Anton turns around to fuck off?
Pretty much.
I suspect everyone will for a bit.
Legit.
I mean, Jane can be located in her room, door wide open, lounging on her bed with a glass of wine, reading a book. Because that's just how she's feeling today after changing her trousers that are wet and her shoes.
Yes, all of you enjoy your soggy shoes.
Mm-hmm. It's probably top of the to-do list, yeah.
Alright, does anyone else have a master plan? So I could probably split off the thing with Anton into another scene.
Kleenex.
So many tissues. Would anyone else like to do anything else around the house when I am here? Well, alrighty then. So for now, we will call this one a scene. Thank you, players, for filing in and getting into shenanigans. It's always fun. Until next time. Meow, 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 meow.